Right now at 6, the Lahaina tragedy grows with more confirmed deaths and a growing sense of the scope of this disaster.
We are going to need to house thousands of people.
Tonight, fires are still burning. Search and rescue efforts continue. Shelters are packed, and the president is sending federal aid.
We're working as quickly as possible to fight these fires and evacuate residents and tourists.
Meanwhile, Lahaina residents still in their homes are hungry and anxious as the National Guard secures the town's borders.
I'm a little worried because I have a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old.
So we loaded up as much as we could and came on out.
And after a surge of much-needed donations, some relief groups now say what they really need is money.
New aerial video shot by our crews shows a shocking perspective of Lahaina's forever changed landscape. The town is now a barren, gray wasteland littered with gutted cars, buildings, and ash.
Based on new information from Maui's mayor this afternoon, the burn zone stretches for about 8 miles. Not just historic Lahaina, but all the way up through Ka'anapali and the Napili-Honokowai area. The death toll is up to 53 lives lost. And the police chief says about 1,000 people are still missing.
The official property damage count is just under 300, but the governor said today it's likely closer to 1,000 buildings lost. Firefighters are still battling 3 active fires. The largest one in Lahaina is now 80% contained. About 12,400 customers in West Maui remain without power tonight.
We're told nearly 15,000 people will be moved off Maui by the end of today. Many visitors are flying to Oahu. And President Biden has approved a national disaster declaration unlocking federal resources.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately. And I've directed that we surge support to these brave firefighters and first responders and emergency personnel working around the clock there, risking their lives.
And Governor Green issued a 4th emergency proclamation today after getting his first on-the-ground look at the devastation. He acknowledged it'll take years to rebuild.
We have team coverage tonight. We begin with our Daryl Huff live in Wailuku, who just heard from the governor and county leaders. Daryl.
Mahilani, this press conference was odd because there were many questions from reporters who've been talking to many people about what the public wants to know, but for the most part the answers came back very vague and kind of chilling, really. When you start thinking about how swift and furious this conflagration was, one of the questions about why some people weren't warned that fire was coming, and the answer came back that, well, the firefighters who were on the ground just didn't have time. This is what the Maui fire chief said.
The fire that day moved so quickly that from where it started in the brush to where it moved into the neighborhood, communications back to those who make those notifications are physically and nearly impossible. So the Emergency Management Agency is responsible for that. At the initial neighborhood that caught fire, they were basically self-evacuating with fairly little notice.
Lahaina town is hallowed sacred ground right now because our EV are in that ground. We have to get them out. That's going to take time. I'll get the road open as fast as I can, but I have to do it safely.
And if you're a local resident, find a way to take someone in for Maui, if at all possible. Because this rebuild is going to be extraordinary, but it's going to take time.
It's going to take time and a lot of money. The federal government pledging potentially billions of dollars for the rebuilding, beginning with direct payments to people who have lost their homes. And once again, that death toll, as chilling as it is, likely to rise quite a bit in the next few days. Reporting live from Wailuku, Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Daryl, thank you. An unknown number of residents whose homes were not burned are still there in Lahaina, desperately waiting for help. Today, a convoy of vehicles carrying supplies found getting into the disaster zone isn't easy. Our Chelsea Davis joins us live from Ma'alaya. Chelsea?
Yeah, Mahealani, I'm on the side of Honopi'ilani Highway here in Ma'alaya, where things are a little bit more organized today compared to the last few days. The National Guard is here. I did see them in Lahaina, boots on the ground, and they are helping out. There's also these signs here, these flashing orange signs letting people know that you aren't allowed to go in unless you are authorized. So no longer are we seeing people just camping out on the side of the roads. They are checking people at various checkpoints all throughout the Honopi'ilani Highway, and I was part of one of those authorized convoys that went into the west side earlier this morning. We were escorted in by a Maui police officer. We dropped off goods to families in Apili and Honokauai, and it was shocking to me to see how many people are left in West Maui. Not Lahaina, because there's hardly anything left in the town of Lahaina at all, but definitely thousands of people still in Ka'anapali, Kahana, Napili, and Honokauai, lining up for food, desperate for supplies.
Need formula, diapers, ice, water, and just food.
What's going through your mind right now?
I'm a little worried because I have a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old. I have dogs and just the essentials for everybody.
Ice is like gold out there. We literally saw people running to our trucks for ice because people still don't have power out there, and gas as well, fighting over gas, even trying to climb up onto our trucks, trying to get to our supplies. We dropped off water, food, clothes, but a huge challenge is getting those goods to the people who are still left in the town of Lahaina. Power poles and power lines are still down all across the roads out there, so it's difficult getting access to the people who need it the most. Back out here live in Ma'alaya, it is overcast, and I did feel some raindrops earlier. It was raining in town as well. Not sure if the rain made it out to Lahaina side, but it was definitely cooler than the past few days. That's the latest from Ma'alaya. Reporting live, Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
All right, Chelsea, let's keep the rain coming. Thank you. We're now 2 days out from the fires, and for those with missing loved ones, the agony grows with every passing hour. Our Lynn Kawano is live at a new family assistance center in Kahului with more on the desperate effort to reunite families. Lynn?
Ke'ahi, the center opened midday, and since then a steady stream of people have come to fill out forms of the missing persons, and it's heartbreaking to hear the stories of their search.
They were driving out from the fire from town.
Juan De Leon and Eddie Castillo tried to evacuate Lahaina Tuesday. They were following other family members in a separate car, but the two men didn't make it out.
So far, we've been looking in the hospitals, shelters and places, and haven't found him yet.
The last time we saw him was when we first got evacuated.
Liza Tobias is looking for her father, Carlo. He refused to evacuate with her. She's hoping he changed his mind and caught a ride out after she left. This is all that's left of their home.
Because of the phone service, she's not on any of the lists for Maui Prep or for the Civic Center.
Melinda Young is hoping to find friend and co-worker Monica Cole. All are growing weary after searching for days, and communication remains down in most of the area. The Family Assistance Center here at the Kahului Community Park is open until 8 o'clock tonight, and then it'll reopen again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, the Red Cross also has a hotline to report people missing, and that number is on your screen. Reporting live in Kahului, I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
All right, mahalo, Lynn. Part-time Maui resident Oprah Winfrey dropped by the War Memorial Gym shelter today, which is also a donation drop-off location.
That was a picture with Oprah Winfrey. She has pledged that she would drop off donations. Now, the media mogul owns more than 1,000 acres in Kula and Hana. The group Ko'o Haleakala says she offered to buy supplies for the shelter, including cots, blankets, and toiletries. A look at the devastation in Lahaina right now. Our HNN viewers have been sending us video and photos. Stay with us. We have more coverage after the break.